morning. My name is Soraya Keating. I have the privilege of directing this awesome group of actors and actresses. I just want to acknowledge them one more time. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank you, the audience. You were so awesome. You were so generous. I really acknowledge your generosity and your listening today. Just really felt you here and present, and I know the actors did too. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. In a moment, we're going to have the actors come back on stage for Q&A for the outside guests and the press and whoever else is able to stay. I want a couple other quick thank yous. Behind you, there's some awesome artwork that was done in 3 days. I kid you not, 3 days. And if John, Scott, Ronnie Goodman, and Gabriel and Rita could stand up, they're the artists. So thank you. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to acknowledge Steve Emmerich, Director of Arts and Corrections. Where are you, Steve? There you are. So much work to make this possible. It could not have happened, this show, without him. And I also want to acknowledge Leslie Currier of Marin Shakespeare, who produced this show. Also, could not have been without Leslie and Marin Shakespeare Company. And Judy Breen has also been just a brilliant scholar, and every time you don't know what something means, you just say, Judy, what's this mean? She's there. She's an amazing, amazing woman. So thank you. And thanks to all else who had a hand in making this possible. So, Steve, Leslie, did you want to say anything else?
Questions and answers.
Okay.
I think this opportunity. Patrick, do you have the printer, Patrick? And Ronnie, could you help pass this out? You know, we have a few gifts to give to people who helped us with the production. These are block prints from, so Ronnie, you can hand one to each person. We would like to thank Soraya and the actresses that came in to support this production. These are block prints that were created by Ron Goodman. And Ron also from Leslie. These are the block prints depict a scene from San Quentin with Miles Davis up in the top of, above in the sky above the prison. You may see it later. So quite beautifully done. And that again, I introduced Katya. But if you can stand one more time, Katya. This is from the block print. Before we get to Buffalo, we also would like to present one to Judy. Judy has been volunteering with Soraya as a way to allow me to continue practicing. Again, we did want to acknowledge all the effort. Obviously, a production like this can't be done by just one person. It takes many hands, many people volunteering and helping. And also, I'd like to just acknowledge the effort of the men that you saw performing today.
So at this point, I want to see if anybody has any questions for our actors or me as a director. So I'll take questions from the audience. Yes?
I just want to know about your background, including with different kinds of populations. My background? Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I've been an actress for 10 years. I'm also a registered drama therapist for 6 years. I've been working in the jail and prison system since 2001. Yeah, and I started working here in San Quentin about a year and a half ago after Jonathan Gonzalez, who had originated this work with Leslie and Marin Shakespeare Company, went out of state to go to graduate school. So I've been here in San Quentin about a year and a half. Yes.
Joseph.
So, back in July and August of 2007, the guys and I selected a couple of plays to look at. So we looked at 4 shows. This was one of them, Much Ado. We looked at Midsummer Night's Dream. We also looked at Two Gentlemen of Verona and at Othello. Previously, last spring, we had a smaller performance of scenes from Macbeth. And some of the guys here, raise your hand if you were in that production. Four of you guys, 4 or 5, yes. So we wanted to select something that had a different flavor than Macbeth. So the guys, after studying those 4 shows, voted on what their preference was, and their vote was for Much Ado. In terms of the audition process, for Macbeth, the guys had selected their own roles. For this show, we did something a little different, which was experimental. We had the guys, or I invited the guys to tell me their top 3 parts that they were interested in. I had them read different parts of the script, and I made the final decision who was going to be cast as what character. And then, we actually started as a smaller group. We started as about 5 of us, and we slowly grew to this magnificent cast that you see on stage with Jane and Michelle adding in a month ago. Really great work. Thank you for being here. So the cast has slowly grown, and that was our process. Any other? Yes.
What the acting experience?
Sure. So anybody want to answer that question at your acting experience?
This is my first acting experience.
I've acted before, but this is my first Shakespeare.
My first acting spot Shakespeare into.
This is my first too.
Where?
I did a piece in 6th grade. It was like some tale about a fish that granted 3 wishes. And it was in a Catholic high school in New York, Catholic school in 6th grade in New York City. And I didn't think I'd ever do this again. But as Soraya said, I did a piece in Macbeth. I was King Duncan. I got murdered after 2 scenes and 10 lines. So here I am today, Murder and Benedict, and it's been a lot of fun. It's my 3rd experience.
I acted in a San Quentin production of Waiting for Godot in 1988, and in a production of John Brown's Body in 2002, and this is my 3rd production of this style.
John Brown's Body, yeah. We did John Brown's Body together, and then this is my third time since then too, because I pretty much followed him around.
Okay, anybody else want to answer that question?
First play ever.
First play ever, wow.
I have been acting a fool all of my life. Wow. I have done a few plays outside of San Quentin. This stuff for me was required reading by my mother, who was a teacher, God rest her soul, and it paid off. So that's it.
I, of course, wasn't acting at all. I was just playing myself sitting over there.
I have never acted at all, except in court, according to the judge. Soraya taught me everything I know.
That's right.
Well, for me, 2005, I walked into Arts and Corrections, and Jonathan Gonzalez, J.B. Wells, and Ronan kidnapped me, and I've been with them ever since.
Great, okay, thank you. Yeah, question over here? Yes, I'd be happy to introduce them, or maybe have you, I'll pass the mic around, you can introduce yourself, how about that? So I'll pass the mic, say your name and what role or roles you played in this show.
Henry Montgomery, I go by the name MC, and I play the character of Borachio.
Ronan Holmes, I played the character of Don John, Balthazar the singer, and one of the obnoxious guards.
I bet all this someone knew Henry Montgomery before I ran out of speed. I'm J.B. Wells, and I was Antonio.
John Everett, I was Benedict. Harrison Sue, I played Nehemiah.
Malik Harris, I played Conrad.
And the DJ. He was our
And the DJ.
Troy Williams, I played Carvin.
Phoenix Lucero, I played Burgess and Messenger.
Michael B. Willis, I was the friar, and Dogberry the constable.
Daniel Woolley, WOLA, and I played the watchman.
Chris Rich, they call me Stretch. I play guitar and Ferguson and I'm home.
You're gonna have to.
That's it.
I'm Michelle, and I played Margaret and the sexton and the messenger. I'm Jane, my baby hero.
I am Luke, and I make on Facebook.
Thank you. Any other questions?
How did y'all like come up with the voices out there for y'all characters? Like,
So his question, what's your name? Sorry? Quentin's question is, how did you come up with the voices that you did for your characters? Anybody want to answer that? Yeah.
Basically, you start off with a bunch of lines on a piece of paper, right? And like what I was talking before is that sometimes you go out and you just like watch people. You may watch the program, you watch the show what you do, and you sort of develop your character and you give it life yourself from your own experience, from what you see, how people act, or how somebody will respond to a given situation. And you just try to be true to an individual character. Imagination.
Naturally, it's because I have multiple personalities. Actually, we've got enough characters running around this president. All you gotta do is sit in one place for about 5 minutes and get as many personalities as you want. That's where I get mine from, all you guys.
Basically, basically, a lot of the men here that when they're rehearsing, they'll take the role with them, you know, and you'll see some of us talking to ourselves either in the chow hall, the chow line, or on the yard, or in the shower, and we develop an ear. We develop, it's like a, we develop an ear, so we'll play with a voice, we'll play with a sound, and then that person, that character will start coming around, coming to life, and before you know it, you're in rehearsals, and it'll just click. And like Mike Willis, who played Dogberry, he has that. Thank you. He has that. And with Soraya, we've all been taught so very well, and we're learning how to take our instruments and just experiment with them. So that's how how I see it.
We just watched PBS Master Student. Practice. Lots of practice. I read all the sonnets and I learned Shakespeare's language. Lots of practice.
Okay, Leslie?
I'd like to ask for you guys, what was the best part of this experience for you?
Good question. What was the best part of this experience for you? Michael?
Getting it over. Nothing personal, but I've been living and sleeping and digesting this stuff, and I haven't been writing or anything for my creative writing class, and I have, yeah, and I'm going to pay for that, so
It's driving us crazy.
it's driving me crazy. I woke up this morning laughing at 4 o'clock, so I'm truly happy to have this behind me now.
Anybody else want to best part of this experience for you?
I had the smallest part, and that's because I really don't know anything about acting, so I got to do a lot of fun stuff like keep up with lines and stuff. The best part wasn't the show. It was learning some stuff, but the best part was, in San Quentin, you usually only see one side of people. This time, I can honestly say that everybody on this stage, I've seen multiple sides of it, and they're some of the best, most creative people I've ever met.
The best part for me is just hearing the laughter from the audience, because there were few enough laughs in the environment that we're in to just know that the guys up here entertain people for a couple hours. That meant a lot to me.
And I want to say that the best part for me is really, like each and every moment, from now to when we first started practicing, and it's really a beautiful thing to see, even myself who has never done Shakespeare before, but to see guys like Malik Harris and MC, who, when they first started the class, like we all did, looking at these words and going, doubt and dust and what? And then to see their performance, to see that growth, man, that's powerful.
The best part of it for me was to, again, get that audience response, to make you people happy, fed me. Okay, that energy, that high was something, I thought came from something you roll up and toke, or snort. But once I knew what an audience could give a person, I realized ain't nothing in the world compares.
I think I'm repeating some, but the best part definitely for me is seeing the newer actors learning their lines and delivering their lines in performance, and the satisfaction I know that brings through, and that's the best part for me. And for myself, the performance of the play itself is my most enjoyable part.
The best part for me is watching these guys grow, not just as actors, but as people. When we all start out, we always start out stiff as boards. We're crossing barriers like you wouldn't believe. Other lines, racial lines, religious lines, you wouldn't believe what we deal with. To be able to come together as a group, and to focus as a group. So the best part for me is the group itself, and then watching every single one of you watch us make it work.
Yeah, the best part for me is basically having all you people here and enjoying what we worked so hard to put together. And most importantly is making my teacher happy. Because she's put a lot of effort into this, and I didn't want to disappoint her. I'm just happy to pull it off.
For me, the whole experience has been really amazing. From what I thought it would be like before I got here to actually starting rehearsals and kind of getting to know all these guys, even just a small way. We really had a great time. And I think also it was sort of for me rediscovering why I love Shakespeare, because every week that we came here, all the guys were so excited and so happy to be doing what they were doing, to be able to take on Shakespeare. A lot of times in the real acting world, I think people forget how lucky they are to sort of be able to take on that kind of text and those kind of words. And I never felt like that these guys didn't appreciate how lucky they were to be able to take on that kind of text, and they really loved it, and that was really cool.
Yeah, just to agree with you and to add on, I mean, this is definitely not your typical, acting experience, but it's been really, just really neat to come here, and it does kind of redefine like what it means and what acting can provide. And one of the reasons why theater is out there is it's this kind of cathartic thing for people, and it can really kind of show how much we all have in common. you know, and show how we all have these kind of common human things that we can relate to, and to work with everybody and see that grow in the way that we know each other, you know, as people, and then also in the context of the show. It's just been really, it's been fun.
I'm sorry. That's a hard question, which Leslie and I face all the time, trying to support programs like this. It's like, why should we have it? Why should people support Shakespeare?
Because Shakespeare was a student of life. He understood human nature. He took a man that was 43 and a half years old, who knew very little about life, period. I was a walking self-destruction site. And I'm growing up today. I went back to school, I've got my GED, I'm halfway through the college program. I attend programs which are helpful to my self-development. I tutor, and you know what? I love who I am today. I'm not ready to get out of here, I'm prepared. And it's because of William Shakespeare, the Arts and Corrections Program, Marine Shakespeare Company, your work as well, and this young lady over there, and these guys up here. That's why.
We are depicted on television as animals. We are depicted on the television as men who have nothing. We don't care about public safety. We have no family out there. We are undesirables, and that is not true. This lady comes in here and she is strong. She's a strong woman, and she comes in here and she teaches us. She sees that we want to learn because we are salvageable. These ladies come in, you know, and we are blessed to have them, and they see us. See you guys walking around, and sometimes there may be a little bit of apprehension, but they come in because they are strong and they want to help. All of you convicts out there, we are not animals, okay? We come in and do Shakespeare because it rings true in every bit of us. Every play that he wrote rings true. We need these programs for several reasons. Specifically, because it allows us an extension to what's out there. It allows us to also see that we have something to give back. Okay? We have something to give back. As long as we're above ground, we can do something positive. I believe that these programs are necessary because it brings people together. Okay? Everyone knows we have to wear a face inside the institution. We have to wear a face with the guards. We have to wear a face with everybody else. But we have Samoans. We have black men. We have Jews up here. We have Christians up here. Okay? We're all getting along. We're all doing it right. We have Muslims up here. Okay? Now, I say that to say this, I'm gonna make this quick. Humanity, humanity, humanity. This is who we are, okay? These programs give us everything. And I thank Steve Emmerich, I thank the people from Marine Shakespeare, and I thank Soraya for offering their time. Because now we can look back and say, hey, after we get out of here, after this vacation is over, we can look at our children or our grandchildren and say, hey, we made history here. And regardless of what they thought about us out there, we made history. And that's important, so we should hold our heads high, all of us.
Thanks for that.
The reason we should keep supporting Shakespeare is I think it's pretty obvious. A lot of people here have never had any other environment than the environment of Quentin. They say a child is a product of his environment. 2 years ago, I was working in a really bad country, Cambodia. They're very poor. And the only thing they had is the theater. And trying to understand that was interesting. But everybody was laughing. I found myself laughing along. But I got here and I thought I'd never do Shakespeare. I'm sorry, it's just not me. I love to watch it all. It's fun to sit there and do plays. But I see something that I never thought I'd see ever. Shakespeare is generally considered like classical music. It's a work of art. It's for a intellectual or a patron of the arts. Everybody sitting up here beside me, because of your exposure to Shakespeare, art, everything involved in arts and correction, has expanded their view of the world so much. So much. Most of them have never even seen another country. Now they're doing a play that's how many hundreds of years old, written about love. Come on, there's no reason not to support.
change starts at home.
So we have just about 5 minutes left, you guys, for your answers, and if there's time for one more question, we'll see. Do you want to answer this question?
I want to share something with everybody. My nickname is Bone, right? So whatever you imagine about a dude named Bone, reading Shakespeare probably ain't one of them, right? It's about growth. It's about growth and development. When you go into a character and you go into a role of a character, you learn about the emotional content of who you are as an individual. You also are able to look beyond peer pressure. You know, once again, a dude named Bone sitting up here on the stage in the San Quentin State Prison doing Shakespeare. And I'm sure that doesn't fit many images that will come across of a person's mind about a dude named Bone.
I think that the reason that Shakespeare should be supported like all the arts programs expands one's awareness, increases one's vocabulary, and enhances one's ability to become something more than the box he was placed in. If you were to take this program away, all these men would be doing something else, perhaps better, perhaps worse. But the point is that it's because you care that we try. It is because you give us something that we make effort to reward you with what you have given us. Sitting in the audience is a great writing teacher who comes in here sick as a dog to teach us how to write. Soraya came in sick as a dog and still ran the rehearsals. It was fun to watch her, and these guys saw us dance. Yeah, never happening anywhere but in the arts program.
I had fun watching you guys dance. Most of their dance Yes, question?
This play has a lot of kind of scheming, intrigue, gossip in it. I'm wondering if any of this for you all related to life in prison.
Okay, scheming, intrigue, gossip to relate to life in prison. And I'm going to ask you guys to make your answers as brief as you can. Anybody want to answer that?
I think that kind of goes into the last question, that there's like universal connectedness with humanity's frailties, right? And so it's like repeated into a play, and we get to act out our own frailties in a way that sort of connects us as human beings, and you know, we can all relate to sort of pain or even the intricacies and sort of in the play of how we emotionally respond to certain situations and how we find ourselves out of this at times. It's not just life in prison, it's life in the world. This is, people can be in prison on the street, so, you know, it's life in the world. Gossip, and show me some gossip out in the world.
I'd like to answer that one too. You know, all these themes that come up in this particular Shakespeare play, scheming, gossip, greed, jealousy, in other plays, desire for power, revenge. To me, what theater does, and Shakespeare does this really magnificently, is it shines the light on that which is unconscious or more unconscious. So it gives us the opportunity to say, hey, let's look at this from, you know, a bit of a distant perspective so we can understand it, so we can see, you know, how we are as human beings and maybe make different choices based on what we see, you know. And if we were in a quote-unquote true theater, we have spotlights, right? But to me, that's what theater does, whether it's the spotlights or the metaphorical light, it shines the light on that which is in us so that we can understand it better.
Yeah, I guess part of my question was just, was there anything in here that related for you?
In here, it's
watching and abusing the prisoners. Sorry, see.
in here, in here, it's kind of like you know, I think Shakespeare basically had the theme that Survivor has in his plays: outlast, outthink, and outwit. That's basically how it is in prison. But you know, we want to get better at whatever it is we can do. So I think we as men, we survive this experience. We survive anything. So yes, it does relate to prison in a large aspect, and you have to navigate. But you also have to learn how to navigate without hurting yourself, disrespecting anybody else. Hello. Here we are today with our first edition of Eye on Reform, and I'm sitting here with Soraya Keating, the director of Much Ado About Nothing. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming and being here with me today.
You're welcome.
What I wanted to find out is what drew you to theater, and how long have you been involved in it?
What drew me to theater was this kind of innate knowledge that the arts were what we needed in this world to create more peace and joy and celebrate life in this world. I had always been drawn to the arts even as a little girl. I wanted to be a dancer or an actress when I was very, very small.
Right.
And then I rediscovered my love for theater maybe 12 or 13, 14 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And have been doing it ever since.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, did you start out with doing Shakespeare, or did you come from a musical comedy background, or?
No, I began in college with more contemporary drama musicals.
Okay.
My first musical was Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, really?
I still love.
Good.
And then I did a lot of intensive training programs. I trained and performed with different improv companies. Did a lot more stage work then, did a Meisner training. And Shakespeare for me was something that emerged out of the blue about 6 years ago. I got involved with a Shakespeare company called Festival Theater Ensemble, and just discovered my love for the bard and the magic of his language.
That's good.
Yeah.
What drew you to bringing the bard, William Shakespeare, to the prison, specifically San Quentin?
Well, I feel like Shakespeare, like any great piece of theater, any great writer, has this way in which he illuminates all of the important themes of human life. He talks about life, death, sex, love, power, greed, revenge, all the themes that are important to us that we contemplate as human beings are all there in all his plays.
Right.
And I feel like that bringing it into the prison is a way for us to create a space to look at all those themes and create art out of it.
Okay. Do you feel that the themes of Shakespeare's plays reflect the themes in life outside, or is it a duality? They reflect outside and inside from what you experience you have in here?
Oh, definitely both. Yeah. Definitely it's the outer world and the world beyond prison and the world within prison. From my experience, I feel like it's very much this similar themes, although there's probably slightly different ones that are more intense in here. But I do feel like either outside or inside, when we use a piece of art, be it theater or dance or a book, it gives us the opportunity to get a little distance, and that makes it safer to examine these themes. So otherwise it can be a little too confronting. But arts give us a way to say, oh, look at that character, what he did. I wonder if I would do that, or what she did.
Right. So there's a comparison of how to go through a situation in life and reflect on what you saw. Maybe you can use that in your own life skills, coping skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can use what a character does to reflect on yourself or people you know, or it helps for me, it helps me to dig down into my own values and what's really important to me. And
good.
Yeah.
The sets that were done by Steve Emmerich's artist in Arts and Correction, as I said earlier, you directed Much Ado About Nothing, and how did the sets assist in the production?
Oh, tremendously so. The sets, they were such a gift. I mean, they were wonderful. Yeah. Part of the gift of having sets like that or costumes is it helps create an element of magic. And that to me is really important because, you know, Jung, I think it was, who talked about this liminal space or this magical space that's possible with art. And so when we have the set, it helps us as actors and actresses to really create that world.
As in pulling out, say, something that's in their mind. You may have a person that is apprehensive, but once they see the world around them, they can slide better into that role.
I think so. Just like if you have, you know, an actor put on just the right costume piece.
Right.
Or, you know I play characters where I put on a certain wig and all of a sudden my whole body language changes or the way I'm talking changes.
Right.
Just from that one little addition. So,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's how it sets to me.
As for how long have you been, working in the prisons with theater? What's that been?
Well, in San Quentin, about a year and a half. I worked in I still work in a jail as well for about 5 years.
Right. The California is really basically concentrating on rehabilitation. My question to you is, theater in the jail where you worked at and San Quentin, do you see that as a reforming type activity, something that these men can obtain skills that they can use out there in society?
Definitely, yeah. I feel like anything that gives a person an opportunity to feel alive and feel good about themselves is so valuable, and that's one thing that the arts do is they give people an opportunity to channel their energy into something really constructive. So that's one purpose that programs in the arts can do. Also, just in theater in particular, there's a kind of community that's created when you're working on a show that requires different social skills, requires an attitude of giving.
Yes. That
I think is really important as human beings to develop that kind of attitude to support the group. And
family.
You can use the word family too.
Unit. Yeah. I want to thank you for coming in today. I appreciate your time, and it's always good to talk to you, Soraya.
You're welcome.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. There will be other shows, there will be other people interviewed, and as ever, I will be here to give you whatever information I can on how can we reform and rehabilitate and stay on the right path. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.